If you want to apply AI across your business, the most practical question is not can AI do this? The question is which AI deployment should we do first? That's what AI prioritization is for. In this video, I'll show you the scoring model we use at 80/20 Green to prioritize AI opportunities in terms of value, effort, risk, and readiness. This model supports our AI positioning, AI for what matters most, because it helps you sequence deployments so the strongest returns come first, while still keeping a pathway for broader adoption over time. AI can add value in many processes: admin, customer communications, quoting, scheduling, reporting, knowledge access, and more. But businesses don't have unlimited time, attention, or change capacity. If you try to do everything at once, you spread effort thinly and slow down the wins that build confidence. Prioritization is not about excluding opportunities, it's about sequencing. You want early deployments that deliver meaningful value, implementable with minimal or no disruption, and create a foundation for the next deployments. So we score opportunities across 4 dimensions when looking at this. First one is value. What is the expected impact on margins, time, throughput, service levels, or access to knowledge? A practical way to score value is to ask, if this worked, what would measurably change? Second dimension is effort. How complex is it to integrate? What are the number of systems touched? What processes need to change? What training is required? And will there be many exceptions to handle? The third is risk. So we're going to look at information handling and permissions. What risks is associated with that? Operational impact, if outputs are wrong, and compliance context. Risk is normal operational thinking, not just framing fear. You do need to consider it though. Then fourth is readiness. How stable are the processes that we are going to apply AI to? What's the quality of the data? What extent do we have is there stakeholder buy-in? And is there strong ownership after the go live? How we run a scoring workshop quickly is we start with an opportunity to register from the AI audit. We then run a 60 to 90-minute scoring workshop with those managers responsible for the outcomes and an operator who uses the workflow daily and someone responsible for systems or operations. And each opportunity is scored from a value of, say, 1 to 5 based on value, effort, risk, and readiness. And we capture assumptions as we do the scoring. And we don't need perfect precision, we just need relative order and clarity. So then once scored, you don't just pick the highest value items. Typically, your best first deployments, well, that may be the case, we've got a good scoring system, but it is the ones with the highest score. But your best first deployments will have high value, moderate or low effort, acceptable risk within guardrails, and strong business readiness to implement that. And we'd create a shortlist of the top 2 to 4 deployments to do first. Now then there's the roadmap. The roadmap prevents a false choice between do everything and do only a few. You can do many deployments over time, just in a sensible sequence. Now, let's talk about the practical elements of scoring. For value, we use a 5 would usually mean it touches a high value volume workflow and saves meaningful time per instance, or it reduces bottleneck that limits throughput, or it improves conversion or retention through faster, more consistent follow-up. It materially reduces rework or handling error, and it improves service levels in a way that customers notice. Now for effort, the scoring is a bit counterintuitive. Low scores mean more effort is required. So a 1, which is a low score, would mean there's multiple system integrations, there's unclear data outputs, there's significant process redesign, there's heavy change management across teams. Whereas a 4 or 5 score for effort would mean the workflow is contained, the inputs are clear, the rollout is straightforward. Similarly for risk, the scoring is a bit inverted, counterintuitive. So a 1 or 2 might mean there's a lot of sensitive information involved, errors could create customer-facing impact, compliance requirements are tight. A 4 or 5 would mean the outputs are internal, they're easily checked, and errors are low in consequence. Now for readiness, a 5 would mean the process is stable and repeatable, the data inputs are consistent, there's clear ownership, the team is willing to adopt a change, and a 1 or 2 would mean the process is changing weekly or no one owns it. So these definitions help make scoring faster and more consistent. An important point is that high value doesn't automatically mean high risk. So many high value deployments are actually low risk when designed with guardrails. So you can have a human in the loop review for customer facing outputs so that a human has to check it before it goes to the customer. You can have clear escalation for unusual cases. You can have logging and monitoring so that issues are visible. You can have access controls and permissions aligned to roles. You can have a draft mode output that always requires approval. So the scoring isn't about avoiding risk, it's about designing appropriately to manage risk. So let's take a simple example, inquiries and follows up. Opportunity A would be for AI to draft follow-up emails and create tasks in the CRM. Now the value is often high because follow-up consistency affects revenue and reduces admin. The effort is moderate, depending on the CRM integration that needs to be done. This is the effort required to deploy the AI, that is. The risk is moderate because it's customer facing, but manageable with a review process, so a human in the loop process. And the readiness depends on whether the workflow is stable and owned by someone or not. Opportunity B would be AI producing a weekly internal summary report from existing data. The value could be moderate. The effort is often low to moderate. The risk is low because it's internal, and the readiness is usually high. So depending on your constraint, either of those two could be your best first step. If revenue is constrained by follow-up, the first one we presented, A, might come first. But if leadership needs visibility to make better decisions, perhaps B could be the first win. The point is, scoring gives you a rational basis for decisions. Once you have scores, you can usually see clusters. These are high value, low effort, high readiness. Do these first. High value, high effort. These become phase 2 or phase 3, often after prerequisites are met. Low readiness, either fix prerequisites first or postpone. And high risk, design guardrails or choose a safer deployment. This is where the roadmap is created. The roadmap is not a someday list, it's a sequence with logic where you can start immediately. It's important to restate the positioning that we offer correctly. We're not claiming that there are only a few AI applications in a business. In fact, we believe that there are many. But start with the deployments that matter the most first, then expand. The roadmap is what makes that credible. It demonstrates that other opportunities remain on the table, but you're choosing an order that fits your business constraints. So here's some common prioritization business mistakes to avoid. First one is using AI for novelty rather than business impact. It's a new shiny new toy. You want to try it. That may not have much of a business impact though. Second one is ignoring readiness. Are your people really ready for it? And then blame AI when adoption is low. So that's a very important criteria to assess for readiness. Another error is to treat customer-facing outputs as set and forget instead of adding review and escalation steps where you put a human in the loop. Another mistake is building the most complex thing first before you have early wins. It makes more sense to build a slightly lower value. Usually does make a lot of sense to build a lower value automation first, which is simpler, perhaps one than a more complex one, which could provide higher value but has a lot of complexity. So you want to get those early wins to get some momentum and support going internally. Now, the scoring model helps avoid this by making these assumptions explicit. So to recap, AI prioritization is sequencing, not exclusion. Use value, effort, risk, and readiness. Run a short workshop with process owners and operators. Convert the results into a shortlist and a stage roadmap. And if you'd like a quick, practical view on where AI can deliver the most value first to your business, book a call, 15-minute call using the link below. Thank you.